Alright, so we got the patch notes on Eclipse here. I just want to talk about my initial thoughts. We'll, of course, do a recording of video once the server comes up and I do my first Eclipse run and see how it goes. For the changes, increasing the max number of crystals, I mean, it's okay. I didn't find like controlling 3 charges be particularly difficult, so not 100% on board with the whole idea of raising it to 5. Just seems strange. I don't know. The using multiple crystals, I'm assuming it multiplies the reward. So if you're using 2 charges, I assume you get times 2 whatever your progress rewards are. Can be risky though. I mean, if you get a botched run when you're using 2 charges, that's like having 2 botched runs. So can save some time though, and it sounds like this Eclipse is going to take a long time. The amount of teams was reduced from 20 to 10. Now, I was kind of thinking they were going to go at 5 initially. 10's a lot, more than I was expecting. Outfitting 10 teams is going to be rough. I mean, I have 5 DPS. 1 DPS is not especially good in Eclipse. That would be Crow. So I only really got 4 DPS that are really viable. So fitting 10 teams, that's going to be extremely awkward. Let's see. You'll obtain rewards multiply the number of crystals. Yeah, I said that. Times 3. You can set battle speed. Normal speed, fast speed, I assume that's 1.5. Turbo speed is probably even faster. And I'm already gonna be careful with timing some skills. So I personally don't want to play on that faster speed, but I guess some of the auto people might like that. All teams will start from the beginning. Team will no longer start from the way they defeated the previous team. All teams will now start from the beginning. Now, there's no mention of them changing the monster pattern, so we're most likely getting the same waves. It's 1 through 20, and then 21 through 40 are like the same monster patterns. So, starting from wave 1, the very first monsters you're going to fight is the worms, and then the wave 2 is going to be Lich. Third wave is going to be the Trent. Fourth wave is going to be the worms, are the 2 worms and Lich, and then 5th wave will be the Durahan boss. So you have to fight those right out the gate. But the stats on the first couple waves, I remember they weren't particularly strong. I can barely remember though, because the way the old system worked is your starting wave would move up. And this is really confusing with the screenshot because I got starting wave 12, best wave 40. That's still there. So like, are we still starting? Like, are we actually starting from wave 1, or are we actually all starting from wave 12s now with every team? That's the part that confuses me. So I'm not sure. That changes a lot. I'm not sure how that's going to work if each team has to start from whatever the highest base wave cleared. Because there is progression on the farther you clear in, there's certain key waves you have to get to that increases your starting wave. So we'll see how that goes. So we might not even be starting from wave 1. Let's see. If you leave the battle through disconnect battle button, the team will be considered as defeated. The new team will start at the beginning. And this is weird though, because there's a discontinue battle button, but there's a note here. I swear I saw somewhere that said if click the X, yeah. Leaving during battle will cause you to forfeit the battle, but you will leave the particular screen without any penalties by touching the exit button. You can return to battle. Or the next team. Oh, okay, so you still lose the team. So yeah. rather you click exit out or get defeated, it still counts as the team being defeated. So disconnects will still be an issue because Vespa needs to fix that. They need to really put some kind of safety net to try to catch if there's actually a disconnect. Like if the battle fails to start and the player never connects initially, they should not be penalized. But it does. I don't see any notes that hints that. So that's really unfortunate. I really don't like the idea that they penalize you, like because so many other things allows you like retries or like safety nets to make sure that tickets don't get eaten. But Eclipse is very much, they don't care. Let's see. After the continuous battle button, go to the next team immediately. Show and change MVP rewards we implemented. So yeah, they're getting rid of the first wave clear, so you don't get the 5 extra ethers every wave clear. I cleared up to 51, so I mean I got a decent chunk of ethers for that. For the wave clear rewards stack as the teams go through the waves, entire reward list will be given. The last team has been defeated. First clear reward for clearing a specific wave for the first time has been replaced with MVP system. MVP rewards will be when all the teams have been defeated. Teams made it the same wave, e.g. 5 teams make it 22, only one team will be the MVP. So yeah, there's no cheese in it by having multiple teams clear to the same wave. You'll only get the MVP rewards once. So you can't like cheese it. Please no clear even one wave. Please know that teams that do not manage to clear even one wave will not be able to get any rewards at all. So that's interesting. So before you would get, there was a flatline reward. Like if you started from the starting wave 12, you'd always get the rewards of wave 11 and below, even if you just died instantly. Obviously that'd be a terrible strategy and I wouldn't recommend anyone do that, but that was there. But from what they're saying now, the team has to clear at least one wave, otherwise they get no rewards at all. So I mean, if we start at wave 12, I'm wondering if you actually just get the cycle of rewards for the first 10 waves. We'll see. None of the teams manage to clear one wave. A participation reward will be given of a glittering ether, and there will be no MVP rewards. And a glittering ether is just the blue ethers. Yeah, that'd be embarrassing. Hopefully no one ever actually sees that participation reward. God, I hope not. Okay. That's probably just put it as a safety net to make sure that the system doesn't not consume the entry, I don't know. Any waves cleared after wave 10 will provide with a reward of waves 1 through 10 sequential order. Now this reward changes, this is kind of a big deal. So I was able to clear up to wave 50 as the highest, and I'm gonna say now, I'll talk about it a little more afterwards when I get down further to it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to clear to wave 50 again with some of the changes, and there's very big reasons why that is. So if my team that gets to wave 50, let's say it gets to wave 40, I'm going to get the wards times 3, so you got 3 brilliant ethers, 3 dazzling ethers, that's the golden red, and then you get 12 yeah, so I'd get 12, or sorry, 4 times this, so that'd be 12 brilliant ethers, 12 dazzling ethers, and then 6, 12, 4, 48. 48 shining and 48 glittering ethers. Now, compared to the old rewards, I would be getting less glittering ethers. I'd be getting roughly the same amount of shiny ethers, slightly less red, and definitely less gold ethers. Because you get 15 red ethers for clearing up to 25 before. Gold ethers, if you got up to 40, you would get 16 gold ethers. So now I'm only going to get 12, at least for that one team. Now, that will be partially made up from the other teams, but this is the part that's making me wonder. So they're trying to balance the rewards out so that way the high clearers are not getting as much ether, like exponentially, like they were before. So if a team is still clearing to wave 80, they're not going to get like 50 gold ethers like they were before. Let's see here. So you got the 80 times 3, you get only 24 gold ethers for that one team. So that's going to be a big hit to the people that go really far in Eclipse. But getting that far is going to be a lot harder, and I'm going to talk about why that is. But now you have potential to run 10 teams that are supposed to try to make up the differences by trying to get as far as you can. So making teams that can clear up to, I mean, as high as you can go, I'd say wave 40 is probably where you want to aim. Same as before. That was always the thing I try to tell people is aim for wave 40. If you can clear wave 40, you have a good supply coming in. You got to, it's not the most, but you have if you're clearing wave 40, you have just enough gold ethers that you can make progress. You're getting the max amount of red, purple, and blue. So it's just a matter of time at that point. But the way it is now, I mean, we'll see as far as the rewards. But let's talk about the combat changes. So the combat balance has been reworked, and this kind of worries me to several degrees. So monster attack has been decreased by a large amount. Good. That was one of the main things I pointed out in my post on Plug with the problems with Eclipse. So they're definitely nipping that, making sure that the enemies aren't hitting monstrously hard. Now to compensate, monster HP is being increased by a large amount. How large? We'll see. And this is kind of one of those things that's worrying me, is the increase to HP. I did kind of advocate for it, that you want to draw the fights out longer, but there is downsides to it, and this is going to affect a lot of people's progression, and possibly mine as well. Monsters having higher HP means it's going to be much more difficult to clear them in the time window that's given for Ring of Spirit Morph. So I only have I have a 3-star Ring of Spirit Morph. It only lasts 7 seconds, so it's already really hard to clear some waves in those 7 seconds. Like, I gotta be really cautious, make sure I'm playing on the ball. There's times where I've goofed up and had waves die because I just wasn't casting my skills at the right time or casting my skills quick enough. At 7 seconds, it sounds like a long time, it's not. 7 seconds is really short. So enemies having more HP means Ring of Spirit Morph in Eclipse might be dead, depending on how high the HP has been increased. If they increased it a lot, we're gonna have trouble. We may not see those 80 plus clears anymore. I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's definitely some stronger players than me. But those players, they're really pushing it when they get to those high waves. Like, they're barely getting just enough damage. And this is with the old system where the enemies have relatively low HP for what level they are. So if the HP's been massively increased, yeah, their damage output's going to be lower, but those 40 plus bosses, they're probably still going to hit hard enough to wipe you out. I don't think that's going to change much, even with the decreased attack. We'll see. I mean, we'll see the numbers when the server goes live. Monsters will now attack any Knight class hero with normal attacks if the team has a Knight class hero. So this is kind of a good change. This is interesting. I don't know how this affects some of the monsters, like you got the scorpions that shoot the poison. They would constantly shoot that as the backline, but I'm pretty sure that's a skill that they use, so I don't think it's going to affect that. It says the normal attacks will target the knight, but a lot of the enemies also cleave, which is where you get like the melee range heroes like Epis. Like she has to use meme ring as well. Sorry, meme ring. The ring is spirit morph. It is a meme. So you would still get cleaved, and I'm wondering if they didn't remove the cleave effect from a lot of the monsters, it's still going to be extremely painful for melee heroes. If they did remove the cleave effect, or make it so that the cleave effect doesn't reach out, as effectively when a knight's present, that might help. I mean, we'll see. But if cleave's still there, it's going to be still really rough. Enemies' attack being lowered, though, can help. We'll see. I'm still thinking ranged heroes are definitely going to have the advantage. Hero reduction wave has been reduced by a large amount. It's still present, though. We don't know the numbers. So before, it was 20% per wave, if I remember correctly. So you start out with 100% heal rate. It goes down by 20. If you run Ray Hartna, you get plus 10 per wave for up to 6 waves if you use her UT4. So that gives you 160. There's other ways you can increase heal rate, but it's really difficult. Like, there's actually not that many effective sources to increase heal rate effectively, so they said they lowered a lot. I'm expecting it probably be around 5%, because that's the same percent they use on the Devourer stage. For Devourer Shakma, it's every 5 seconds the totems hit you with that heal reduction. That's 5%. So that's what I'm thinking they're probably changing it to. So every wave is going to be 5%, which means after 20 waves, if you have no heal reduction, you'll be basically done after clearing 20 waves. So that may be around a target that people want to aim for to gear your tanks up to be able to survive for 20 waves and be able to be healed. If you can get some extra heal rate reductions, Ray Hartna is really good. Regular Frey is still good. Once you put the shield up, it's 50% heal rate. Fallen Frey has 20% heal rate increase. I believe Evan has heal rate increases. Lias, her unique weapon, has a heal rate increase, and she's got a really strong shield, and since now enemies will always attack the knight with the normal attacks, that might make Lias more viable in Eclipse. You'd have to not run the perk where the shield targets the DPS, though. It'd have to be the free target, where it targets the lowest HP. And then you just have to make sure that your knight's always at the lowest HP compared to everybody else, and then you can keep them shielded. Because Lias has a really, really strong shield, so she might be more viable. And we got 10 teams to field, so yeah, give her a try. Trust me, you might be surprised how well she does. Effective NPC Kane has been changed. This is good and bad, and I'll talk why. So previously, your attack of all allies in Eclipse was increased by 20%. It's kind of the same layer of attack increase as Transcendence perks or artifact buffs or any percentage buffs provided by allies. 20% is pretty nice, especially once you're like a high invested soul weapon hero. That 20% really, really piles on, and you start tearing monsters apart. That's why you see like those high-level Celine, Celine, Lorraine, Epis, Esker, like they start blowing enemies up, is because they're getting that 20% attack. That's why they just hit so much harder in Eclipse than they do in other content. The change though now is attack of all allies is increased by 100,000, and it's a flat amount. So what this means is if you have under 500,000 attack, this is a buff for you. So if you have like low invested heroes, or you got just someone with like 0, 1 0 or 1-2 star weapons, no soul weapon, any of that, you're going to see a big damage increase. So you're going to do better. If you're above 500,000 attack, you're going to see a decrease by quite a bit. Right at 500,000 attack, that's where those amounts equal out. If you're at 600, you're getting a bit less. Once you're in 800 range, you're getting quite a bit. You're losing a good chunk of what the old buff was. Once you're at 1 million attack, you're losing you're not getting near as much at all. If you're like one of those people rocking the 1.5 million attack, that extra 100 attack's almost nothing. It's still there, but I mean, what's it? You had a 1.5 million attack stat sheet. So you get 100,000 or 100,000 more. So you'd only get 6.6% compared to the old 20%. So damage output's going to be much lower for the high clears. Enemies are going to have more HP, which means killing them in time is going to be more difficult. They say enemies damage much slower. How tankable are they going to be? Don't know. I mean, I can tank up to 40 without Ring of Spirit more if I've done it before. But that was hard. So that's going to be probably easier, but at the same time, you are going to lose healing eventually. Frey and Fallen Frey are going to be top notch because shields. That's going to be the only way to survive again. There's only 2 of them, so that's only 2 teams. Trying to fill 10 teams is going to be tough. We'll see. So that's my thoughts so far. This is just from the patch notes. I'm going to spend some time and retool my my charts for the new Eclipse method to see what the rewards are going to be like, and I'll be doing a run within the next 24 hours. Should have a video up. I'm definitely going to be trying to get a lot of information. I'm going to try to get a hard number on the heal reduction, figure out exactly how much heal reduction we get each wave, or try to figure out what the enemy stats are, comparison before and after. I do have a notepad that I have saved with the old enemy attack stats and HP stats, so I'll be able to see direct comparisons, see what they changed. We can check those in the monster index, at least for the early monsters, and then the level 41 Lich, we can see the stats on that one as well. So we'll see. No mention of defense changes, so penetration is still going to be important, especially if you want to go 40 plus. Well, I mean, 10 teams. I was not expecting that. That's seems more tailored for people who whale and have a bunch of DPS than the average player, so I'm a little disappointed by that. We'll see though. I still expect that I will do pretty well. We'll see on the rewards. Brilliant Ethers and Red Ethers. Kind of worried about the Brilliant Ether changes. Well, we'll see. I mean, the high cap on Brilliant Ethers has definitely been gutted. So for the people clearing way higher than me, they're going to feel it more than I will. People below me, though, they're going to see a lot more gold ethers, so that's good. We're going to get way more blue and purple ethers. But the thing is, based on, like, if you just got ethers just from Eclipse, it still always took longer to get enough reds to complete the red tier levels, and it took even longer for the gold tier levels, unless you're clearing really high in Eclipse. But the blue and purple was always static, and they had a set number of weeks, and those values were already relatively low, so increasing the amount of blue and purple ethers, I don't think that's going to help people much. So like they're just going to end up overflowing with way too much blue and purple ether eventually. That's kind of what I think is going to happen in time, and we're going to just be massively gated on red and gold ethers, and knowing Vespa, they're going to try to sell us red and gold ethers to make up for it. we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'll get things calculated. We'll see numbers. I'll do gonna be doing quite a few videos on Eclipse here over the next couple days, so keep an eye out.